Are you going to show that tonight?
No.
Okay, that's fine. Okay.
No, I don't mind. Too much shit all of a sudden. Yeah.
No? Not yet.
I'm good to go. I need to ask the court.
On the record, off the record.
All right. On the record.
All right. Record should reflect the presence of Mr. Chrisman and counsel. The jurors are not yet present. Mr. Merrick.
At some point in this afternoon's opening, I want to play the 911 call, which is in evidence, but I'd like to use on the Elmo or up on the screen or whatever, the redacted transcript of it while the call is played.
I understood all of the words, but I don't understand what you're asking me to do.
I'm just wanting to let everyone know that I was allowed to do it, I believe, during opening, but even if I wasn't, I'd like to use the redacted transcript we agreed upon, which is the redacted call we agreed upon, as a thing that the jurors can read the transcript as the call is played.
Okay.
Demonstrative.
All right.
Demonstrative. Thank you. I'm off to a good start. That's all. I'm ready.
Needed. Record should reflect the presence of Mr. Chrisman and counsel and the jurors. Mr. Merritt, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Well, that was quite a performance. What it lacked in substance, it certainly made up in fire and brimstone. And so that I don't get left out of literary quotations or the literary tales, I'd like to begin with my own literary quote from Macbeth about what we just heard. As Macbeth said, "It is a tale told by an idiot full of sound and fury, signifying nothing." The story you heard today was simply this by Mr. Martinez. This is what he wants you to believe. This is his story. This man, this Rich Chrisman, after being a Phoenix police officer for 9.5 years, after being trained as a Phoenix police officer for 9.5 years, after never having fired his gun in the line of duty for 9.5 years, on October 5th, 2010, said, "This is the day. I'm going to kill somebody. I'm going to use my gun for the first time in the line of duty, and after I do it, I'm going to get all my friends to cover it up for me, to stage a scene. That's the tale you heard for the last few hours. He talked about Lon Bartel, a double dipper. You remember his cross-examination of Officer Hawkins Reeson, apparently the unfit mother. And then he talked to you about he told you that what we over here, what we wanted you to believe in all these 18, 20 days that we had evidence, is that we want your faith. We don't want you to believe in the evidence, the science, we want faith. Well, I'll tell you, we do have faith in you folks, you jurors. We have faith in the jury system, we have faith in the courts, we have faith in we have faith in the judge, but we are not asking for you to have faith in my oral argument. Not at all. As the instructions say, what I say, what he says, it's not evidence, it's just argument. And that's all it is. It's just rhetoric. It's kind of what we think things may be or may not be. But as another person, I can't remember who it was, said, you're entitled to your opinion, you're entitled to your own opinion, but you're not entitled to your own facts. And the thing I think that you should be most disturbed about, what's just happened in this courtroom for the last few hours, is he wants you to believe, the state wants you to believe in their facts. And I'd like to take some time to point out to you exactly why what was heard here today is not facts, but is Mr. Martinez's facts. For example, Mr. Martinez told you early on that Rich Chrisman told you under oath that Elvira Fernandez was hysterical. He told you that twice this morning. That is not true. Rich Chrisman never said Ms. Fernandez was hysterical. He said she was upset, he said she seemed afraid, but he never said she was hysterical. He said it. It's not evidence. Not only is it not evidence, it's not true. Now, why would he say something like that that's not true? Well, to get you to believe that the rest of the things he's going to say that aren't true are also true. Was the word hysterical ever repeated? I'm not repeated. Said from the witness stand? I suggest to you it was. I think that Officer Virgilio said that after this was over, after the shooting was over, that Ms. Fernandez became hysterical. I think that word came out of there. But that's not what he told you. He told you something else. He then went on to tell you that Rich Chrisman wanted you to believe that he arrived first and Sergio Virgilio arrived sometime later. That Rich Chrisman, he says, wants you to believe that he was there first and Virgilio didn't come until later. Well, we have transcripts. As the court told you earlier, we lawyers get to have some of these transcripts that the court reporter works overtime to prepare for us. And I have up on the screen an excerpt from Sergio Virgilio's testimony on August 7th, a long time ago, where Mr. Martinez asked him, did you two get to the mobile home park at the same time sometime later, or how did that work? Answer, we arrived about the same time. That's the truth. Why did he try to convince you otherwise? I don't know. He went on to tell you this afternoon. He said, Sergio Virgilio told you he was afraid. Sergio Virgilio told you he was afraid of Rich Chrisman. He did tell you that on the witness stand. But Mr. Martinez told you, every time he talked to these people, he said he was afraid of Rich Chrisman. Every time he talked to Detective Porter, every time he talked to Sergeant Agia, he said he was afraid of Rich Chrisman. That's not true. That is not in evidence in this case because A, it's not true, and it doesn't exist. You never heard Detective Porter say that. Rich Chrisman, I'm sorry, that Sergio Virgilio told you he was afraid, told him, I'm sorry, that he was afraid of Rich Chrisman. You never heard Sergeant Agia tell you that Sergio Virgilio told her that he was afraid of Rich Chrisman. So that's another statement that you heard today that's not in evidence. It doesn't make it so because I say it or he says it. He told you that Eric Rudy was Rich Chrisman's friend. No evidence of that. They worked in the same squad. All these guys worked in the same squad. Were they acquainted? Sure. Were they kind of friends? Yeah. These were the people that got called to the scene. We call them as witnesses because they were the ones that there. There's no proof of what he said. And he said another thing too. He said there was blood on the taser and that's what the DNA shows. That's a sentence that came out of his mouth this afternoon. Well, it's actually two sentences because it's got an and in there. He said there was blood in the taser. Now there is evidence. Officer Barrios did say that. He's the only one that saw it. Everyone else didn't see it. I suggest maybe he's mistaken. But there is evidence, and legitimately Mr. Martinez can tell you that he can make the statement that there was blood on the taser. But he went on to say, and that's what the DNA shows. But the DNA doesn't show that. The DNA shows that there was DNA on the taser and that it belonged to Danny Rodriguez. That's the truth. It's not there was blood on the taser and the DNA proves it. No. There was Danny's DNA on the taser. No one disputes that. That's true. How did it get there? Could it have been from when Sergio went hands-on and did the one thing in this case that he should have done, about the only thing, tried to grab Danny besides the taser, and then used his taser later? Could that be how it happened? Yeah, it could be. Could it be from the blood that was washed out after the storm because blood has DNA in it? Yeah, it could be. But DNA doesn't prove blood. DNA proves that that person's DNA is on the taser. So that's another thing he told you that's incorrect. And then almost at the end he said, and he said this twice or three times, that the first shot is this shot here that went in the sternum. This is the first shot, he told you. This is the first shot, he told you. Nobody else said it. No one else has said that in this courtroom from that stand. Everyone, the ME people, Dr. Johnson and Dr. DeMaio, Mr. Haig didn't tell us because that's not his field. Both of those doctors say, you do not know what's the first shot. He seems to know. Or he would like you to believe he knows. So, be very careful when you go to the jury room and you think about what was argued out here by myself and by Mr. Martinez. Put aside our rhetoric and think about the evidence in this particular case and see if what makes sense in your minds fits with the evidence and the photographs that came into evidence. Okay. Let's start then where I started when I first met you folks. Because it seems to me that we ought to start with the 911 call, because that's what happened. I mean, that's why these officers went to that place. That's why these people decided, that's why these people, in performing their job, what we hire them for, decided to go to the trailer park. And I'd like to play the 911 tape for you again, because it's in evidence and you can listen to it. And I agree you should reach your conclusions as to the what the tenor of the tone of Ms. Fernandez is on there. But listen to the words, and I'm going to have the transcript up, and listen to the words. That brought these officers to this trailer. And before I play it, I just want to tell you, 3 or 4 times Ms. Fernandez tells you that Danny, her son, is violent. That's not from Rich Chrisman. That's from his mother. At least 3 or 4 times she tells the officers. She says, he's hurting my dog. She says, I'm afraid he's going to hurt me. That's what she told the police department. That's why he went there. I fear for my life. I can't take it anymore. I can't take it anymore. He comes back all violent. He's got my house destroyed. He's so violent. That's why they went that day. Not because, as he would like you to believe, that Rich Chrisman, after 9.5 years, decided to get out for the first time in the line of duty, fired his gun. That's not why they went there. All right.
Time out. But before you do, just for your information, ladies and gentlemen, the tape itself is something that you'll have in evidence. The transcript is a demonstrative exhibit that you don't get the transcript, but you do get the tape. Mr. Ramirez.
Yeah.
Phoenix 911, where is your emergency?
My name's Elvira Fernandez. I live at 303 South Mountain Avenue.
Okay, say the address again, please.
Elvira Fernandez. I live at 303 South Mountain Avenue, space 51. My son came home last night and he's real violent and he's throwing things around the house and hurting my dog.
He's throwing things now, ma'am?
Yeah, you know, he's just real violent. I'm afraid he's going to hurt me.
Are you at the house now?
No, I'm at the neighbor's house.
Okay, when was he doing this?
Just right now.
How long ago, ma'am?
No, he's been telling me to go loud and he's telling me, cursing at me and he's got something stopping and going to do something at me and he hit the wall and made a hole in the wall.
And how long ago was this, ma'am?
About 15 minutes ago.
Okay.
I hate to do this, but I can't. I'm just afraid of fear for my life.
How old is your son?
He's 29.
Okay. And is this an apartment complex?
No, it's a mobile home park.
Mobile home park?
It's called Casa de Francisco.
And you live in lot number 51?
Yes. It's funny to leave it, and I'm just afraid even if he leaves, he's going to come back and hurt me. I can't take it anymore.
And how old is your son again?
29. His name is Daniel.
Daniel?
Yes.
And his last name?
Rodriguez. He leaves for 4 or 5 days and then he comes back all quiet.
And is he white, black, Hispanic?
He's Hispanic.
How tall is he?
He's about 5'7".
And his weight?
About 160 maybe.
Color shirt?
He's just in his room. closed. I don't know. I haven't been in there.
Okay.
He just throws things out his room and he hits the wall and made a big old dent and hole in the wall. He said my house all destroyed. He's so frightened.
Okay.
I just can't take it anymore.
And do you know what he threw out of the room?
I don't know. It was something sharp because it missed me and it hit the wall on the floor. So he quit throwing things because he's scared of the dogs. The dogs are terrified, and then I heard the dog crying in his room.
Are there any weapons in the house at all, ma'am?
No, I don't have any.
Okay, and you didn't see him with any guns or anything?
I haven't seen him. I don't go anything from him anymore.
You haven't seen him with any guns or anything, ma'am?
No.
Okay. And are you going to wait there in lot number 50?
Yeah, I'm right next door to my neighbor.
Okay, but you're at the neighbors in lot number 50?
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to wait there?
Yes.
And what's your last name, Elvira?
Fernandez. F-E-R-N-A-N-D-E-Z. I just want him to leave. I wish he would leave and not come back, but...
Okay, is there anyone else in the house?
In my house?
Yeah.
No, just the two dogs.
And has he been drinking or doing any drugs?
I don't know if he's been doing any drugs, but he sure comes home like he has. I know there's men in the house.
And you have two dogs in the house?
Yeah, my dog's in my room and the other one's in his room.
Okay.
I've left her in there because she's sick. She's got cancer, but I didn't want her. But she gets so scared, and I'm worried about it too.
Okay, ma'am. I'll send an officer to talk to you at 303 East South Mountain Avenue in lot number 50.
Is lot number 50? Okay, thank you.
And the name of the mobile home park again?
It's Casa de Francisco.
Casa de Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll ask an officer to come see you, ma'am.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.
And that's how this case started. Judge, could we take a break
Yes.
till tomorrow morning?
Then I had told both counsel that if there was a logical split in the argument, we would take it at those times. So we will take the evening recess at this time. We'll resume tomorrow at 10:30. You have not heard all of the arguments. You have not heard all of the instructions. So continue to keep an open mind. One of the things Mr. Martinez said just in rhetoric is that on the definition of apprehension, you can look it up, don't look it up. As I told you, all of the evidence has to come from the courtroom. All of the instructions have to come through the instructions approved by the lawyers, so don't do any homework on your own. Avoid any coverage of the case. Continue to keep an open mind. Continue staying healthy. We will see you tomorrow at 10:30. Excused.